Hi everybody, Silvino Edward Diaz here for EPGD Business Law and Starving Artist. Starving Artist is the premium artist, creative, entrepreneur, legal and business consultation services. Make sure to look us up on Starving Artist and EPGD Business Law on the web and on social media to check out our services and what we can do for you. Today in this video capsule, I want to talk specifically to my fellow music artists, and I want to talk about an issue that is probably of the most supreme importance when you enter into an agreement with either a manager, a distributor, or a label, and that is the granting and the transfer of the rights to your music, a copyright master agreement. Here's the situation. Whenever it is that you are obtaining investment or assisting or some sort of professional development for your career, you're usually going to need the help of someone like a manager, like an investor, like a record label, or some other company that is going to fund, that is going to invest in your music to make sure that it reaches digital distribution platforms, that it reaches radio stations, that it gets playlists, that it's having airplay on the web and other areas. And for that, a significant amount of money needs to be invested so that your music is out there, so that your music reaches the hands of the people who control the channels of distribution so that audiences can finally get to know you. Here's the thing. For most of these businesses, when they look at you as an artist, they're going to look at you as an investment. They're going to look at you as a risk. They're going to want to get some sort of guarantee or assurance that if things don't go the way that they should, that they're going to at least be able to keep something for themselves. And if things go great, then both parties are obviously going to profit from that business decision. But one of the key ways that record labels and managers and investors have over the years been able to obtain that assurance or guarantee is by taking from you your rights to your music. And this is done through a copyright conveyance agreement. It could be a transfer of rights. It could be a work for hire. It could be a label agreement. It could be a master rights agreement. The way in which it is structured, the type of legal contract by which you give away your rights can be one of many. But at the end of the day, you're doing the exact same thing in each of all of them. You are giving them the right for them to claim that they are owners of the work and to exploit your work in a number of ways that may or may not require your approval or even your authorization. And so most of these record labels expect that you give them either 100% of the rights to the master or some other portion. It could be 50%, 75%, that's up for negotiation. But the truth is that when you do that, you no longer are the owner of your work, especially if you hand them 100% rights to the copyrights. And what that happens is that once the work is out there, once you sign that agreement, you have no choice. You have no freedom, no autonomy on what happens to your work, and you're only entitled to receive whatever portion of profits, of royalties you agreed to. That may seem like too steep of a price to pay for the risk of blowing up your career, for the risk of, making it big or having a hit single. And what we've seen in the past couple of years, and this has been on the news over the past couple of months, most distinctively by artists such as Kanye West, who have perhaps put a voice and put out there that you don't need to give up your rights as an artist in order to have a successful business deal with either a label, a manager, or an investor. So what I want to do today is bring forth a novel idea by which you can actually make sure that these companies, investors, and managers are getting the assurances they need in order to put your music out there, but at the same time, you're not paying too steep of a price for it. So what I want to do is I want to give you a breakdown of an alternative agreement, which is called a license agreement. So these two types of agreements, whether it is a transfer of rights wholeheartedly or a license agreement, they can do exactly the same thing. All you want to do is make sure that the person who is investing in your career, who's putting your music out there, that they have the right to exploit it commercially, that they have either an exclusive or non-exclusive license that could be either irrevocable or revocable, and that it can have some sort of term to it, whether it is perpetual, whether it's until a certain amount of time, and of course the geographical location. It could be North America, it could be Central America, it could be the entire world, it could be the entire universe. But you can set up an agreement that's called a license agreement where you decide how far and how long and to what extent these companies, or whether it's a manager, an investor, or a record label, are going to have autonomy to your works. So next time that you are in a table negotiating how a person is going to invest in your career and they ask you to give them your rights to your music, all you have to do is tell them, I am more than willing to give you all the rights you need to commercially exploit my work, but I'm not going to give you my rights. I'm only going to give you a license. I'm going to give you a permission that could be perpetual, a permission that could be irrevocable, that could be exclusive, it could be worldwide, and it could have all sorts of royalty provisions. But I'm not going to give you the rights to my music because that is the reason why I work. That is the reason why I create what I create. And so license agreements, in my opinion, are going to be the future of the industry as more and more artists realize that the rights that they need to give companies in order to properly exploit their works don't necessarily have to reach the extent of you owning my work forever. So whenever you have an agreement, whenever you have a negotiation with a company or a record label for them to exploit commercially your work, make sure to keep in mind that license agreements are just as effective as copyright transfers and conveyances, and that you have the right to own your work forever, and no one should take that away from you. This has been Silvino Edward Diaz for EPGD Business Law and Starving Artist. Remember, follow us online and on social media at Starve Artists on all platforms, and EPGD Business Law on all platforms as well. And make sure to log into our webpage, epgdlaw.com and starveartist.com, to learn more about our services. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.